Dartmoor National Park is a vast moorland located in the southwest of England, defined by its beautiful lakes, forests, rivers, wetlands and tools. Dartmoor covers 368 square miles and is classed as a site of special scientific interest, noted for its abundance of rare animals and plant species. Its common land is used to graze cattle, sheep, and the famous Dartmoor ponies. Other rare species include lichens and mosses, butterflies, damselflies and dragonflies, and dormice. It is an area that provides invaluable ecosystem services to visitors, a place to relax and picnic with friends, or pursue more extreme pastimes such as rock climbing or kayaking. For the past 200 years, the Ministry of Defence has been using Dartmoor for training exercises and military manoeuvres. Areas such as quarries, industrialised areas and landfills are bound by the Environmental Liability Directive of 2010, the main principle that the polluter pays. This is to make sure that no damage occurs to watercourses, protected species and natural habitats, and if it does, it must instigate the measures of remediation. It also states that in the case of land or soil pollution, the polluter instigates the necessary measures to eliminate any danger to human health. The firing range danger areas on Dartmoor conduct activities that could affect watercourses, protected species, natural habitats and soil contamination. The law states that the MOD must operate within the confines of the law, but exemption to legislation may still be granted in circumstances essential to maintain operational capability, or in the interest of national security. A team from Plymouth University contacted local landowners and the MOD in relation to the matter, but they declined to answer. On the back of this, independent research was carried out to investigate whether the use of the firing ranges and military activities have caused adverse contamination to the soil on Dartmoor.
The study took place on Willsworthy Military Firing Range on the western side of Dartmoor. The highlighted area marked in red on the subsequent maps show the exact location of the Willsworthy Range, where elements lead, copper, iron, barium, and antimony were collected. The range has an area of approximately 8 kilometers squared. The red dots marked on the maps indicate the sampled sites. The 3 green dots mark where the 3 ranges are. All samples were tested in a controlled laboratory environment and measured with an XRF instrument used to collect and detect the prominence of each toxic element found in the collected soil samples. This first map shows a heat map of the concentrations of lead found on Dartmoor. Interestingly, the highest concentrations of lead are directly around the firing range. The average concentration of lead in the southwest of England is supposed to be 53 milligrams per kilogram. However, this map shows that the levels aren't found below 1900 milligrams per kilogram. Lead is often a major source in bullets used by the MOD. Extreme weathering conditions on the bullets allow for it to leach easily into the soil. Since lead does not move easily once it is in the soil, it stays there for quite a while. Lead in bullet casings are often the most notable source of lead being found in soil through England, at approximately 15,000 tons deposited annually. The average southwest concentration for copper levels are around 40 milligrams per kilogram. The most common value for the Willsworthy range data, however, falls between 480 and 1100 milligrams per kilogram, primarily centered around the shooting sites. Copper is often used in bullets and casings, which may attribute to the high levels found in these samples. However, copper is also found in nature and is essential to plant growth, though it is in low concentrations. It is considered to be a micronutrient. Sources of copper may also be linked to industry, mining, and fertilizers. The iron heat map shows relatively high values for all ranges, particularly in range 2. There's a notable pocket of high concentrations just outside of the danger zone. This may be due to natural causes such as iron-rich clay, sandstones, and other geological formations. Iron is one of the most naturally occurring and abundant elements. The southwest is a particular hotspot for geologically sourced iron levels. However, mining in the southwest also contributes to high levels of iron on Dartmoor. Barium is likely to enter the soil via industrial processes, the combustion of coal and oil, and the remnants of mining activities. In the southwest, levels of barium average around 374 milligrams per kilogram. However, in the case of the Willsworthy Range, the levels were most commonly found between 124 and 240 milligrams per kilogram, which is actually the only element to be below the southwest average. Gunshot residue, along with antimony and lead, are often found as inorganic gunshot residues in the soils on range sites, as well as being found in the explosives. Antimony showed to be clustered directly around the range sites. The southwest concentration average is approximately 2.9 milligrams per kilogram, while the data displayed on this map indicates that the data range for Willsworthy is between 200 and 350 milligrams per kilogram. Antimony has become widely used in bullets on shooting ranges, which has contributed to a considerably high level of contamination in the soil. Lead and antimony are usually found together in the composition of bullets and is considered to be the most important elemental component. Without anthropogenic input, antimony would not be found in the natural environment as it has no biological function. Antimony has a significantly high half-life, which means it stays stagnant in the environment for a considerable number of years.
While collecting soil and vegetation samples for analysis, the research team discovered a vast array of discarded munition waste, including a grenade. The sheer abundance of this type of material is concerning, considering the military's environmental protection policy. Historically, there has been incidents of accidental injury and death because of unexploded ordnance on the moor. While it's unclear if the contamination of the soils can be solely attributed to the military's use of the land, the variety of discarded munitions can only be attributed to their activities. Based on the data found for the study of firing ranges used by the MOD on Dartmoor, it can be concluded that there seems to be abnormally high concentrations of heavy metals in the soil. All measurements of the heavy metals exceed average levels for the southwest by considerable amounts. Other elements tested but not shown on the heat maps had high concentrations around the River Tavy next to the firing ranges and were being distributed into the surrounding soil in high concentrations also. Visually, these high concentrations don't appear to be having a large effect on flora and fauna on Dartmoor, but via bioaccumulation could be damaging to animal life, and via the same process of bioaccumulation could be affecting human health due to the large amount of cattle grazing on Dartmoor. However, it should be noted that a further study on the analysis of these elements should be conducted in order to confidently determine which elements are more naturally occurring and may have a significant anthropogenic or biological cause for their presence in the soil. With elements such as copper, lead and antimony, it is clear, however, that the MOD's land use is having an adverse effect on the natural environment of Dartmoor.